Hello everybody and welcome back to Let's Play Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition. Sorry there was no part last week. My recording schedule has been all kinds of screwed up for basically the past month, but doubly so, especially within the past couple of weeks. So let's go ahead and get my timer started. We're actually going to be backtracking because, as it turns out, there actually was a way into the underground.
Yes.
Here. Or, you know, whatever the place was called. So let's go ahead and get the team back up here. Now, we are in theory fairly quickly approaching the end of the game, at least the main campaign. Now, I believe I mentioned last time that we probably won't be immediately jumping into the DLC. I don't know, we'll see. Or not DLC, but, you know, the expansions, rather. But we'll see.
Yes.
Look at Kristen, honey. It's the heroes of the Sword Coast. They're the real deal.
Well, 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 dear. What have we here? Blade fodder? I don't know, Slythe. They're so big and threatening. Oh, my mistake. I was thinking of someone else. Oh, she's got a tongue of steel and a heart of gold, my Christine does. Or, excuse me, Christine. And she's so pretty that she makes herself all invisible, so guys, don't give her a hassle. Not that they would with a tough guy like me and looking after her, of course. Slythe, baby, you tell them, honey. Oh, baby, you know me. You know you're Slythe. Hey, you, don't you go watching us go all mushy, all right? It ain't none of your business. What's that you whispering, sweetheart? Hey now, my girl Christine tells me that yous all have a soft spot for the Grand Dukes. Sure is a shame about Entar's Silver Shield, isn't it? One down and two to go. Poor Dukes. Wouldn't it have been better if they had all died together? Bah, Christine, don't give it all away like that now. It's on... what do they call that again? The Silver Bladder? Ah, enough of this cat and mouse stuff anyway. I ain't cut out for it. We'll kill him now and do the Dukes after lunch with Servok. Or, like Servok said us to. Okay. I love you for your mind, Slythe. Now here's the thing. I don't think I have a spell to be able to see people who are invisible. So, question is she gonna stop being invisible? Because, I do not believe I have a way of dealing with that. Presumably these guys are evil, right? So... we're going to go ahead and cast Detect Evil. My hope is that that allows me to be able to see the one who's invisible. No, that's a terrible fucking thing to use.
Save the day. Eat flaming! Or, possibly frosty. Yes!
We're gonna cast a couple of heals. On Jaheira.
Uh-huh.
Shit.
What is it this time?
Your spells are currently inactive. Or excuse me, your magic missile spell is currently not available. Okay, that's one down.
For the group.
I'm gonna have Jaheira back off. Shit. They killed, what's his face? Okay, well, let's read a little bit more into this. So, sadly, that only lasts for a single turn, so not as useful as I would like, admittedly.
Yes.
So let's try this again.
Look at Kristen, honey. It's the heroes of the Sword Coast. They're the real deal.
I done had my blade. We'll cut you down to size.
Thy temper shield.
So we do have silence, but I don't think that works because she's fucking invisible right now.
I will not with caution. Death.
Fucking A.
The end. With caution. With caution.
Come on, guys. You can actually... you guys can form an actually fucking logical line. You know that, right?
Look at Kristen, honey. It's the heroes of the Sword Coast. They're the real deal.
Jesus Christ, this game, I swear, the pathing.
Oh, my heart's really not in this.
Keep your
Think
mind on your work.
carefully.
We're professionals over here.
With caution.
Damn it, okay, that didn't work on her. But you should be able to now silence. I need you guys to finish him off if you don't mind. Thank you. That took way too fucking long. There we go. Ooh, got a crit on her. Damn. She, God damn, Emoin. It's, you're very serious about murdering her. A couple of magical bullets for a sling of some sort. Fancy schmancy dagger. I guess we'll take it, why not? This guy I'm gonna assume probably had letters. Yep. Short sword. I don't think anybody's using a short sword. Although I might be wrong about that. Let's double check that. Oh no, Emoin is using a short sword, so that might be useful for her. If I feel so inclined to give it to her. So let's see. Okay, should hold on to both these letters, obviously. Slithe, the time to strike is now. When the party commences on the night of my coronation, you will join up with my doppelganger assassins at the sewer entrance to the palace. You are to insinuate yourself... Yes. Insinuate yourself into the crowd in the ballroom. When I have finished my speech, you will strike. If you aren't there, my doppelgangers will proceed without you, and your payment will be forfeit. Make sure to keep a leash on your little bitch of a wife. An invitation to the party is included with this note. Servok. Okay, wonderful. Now I should, I need to move shit around a little bit, so... Somebody hold on to his journal. Actually, no. I'll hold on to the journal. I think it's most important that I hold on to that. Somebody hold on to the random lock of Nymph's hair. And then we have this other invitation. This is an invitation, or excuse me, this other note. This is an invitation to the inauguration of the newest Grand Duke of Baldur's Gate. It will be held at the Dukel Palace. Present this invitation to the guard at the gate, and you will be allowed entrance. This looks to be an important note, one that you should hold on to. Yes, yes, of course, of course. And then a short sword. Can you identify that for me? No, because your thing is currently on cooldown. Okay, wonderful. Now we just gotta head into the palace, which I'll admit, I have zero freaking clue as to, Okay, no, I think I see which one we want. Okay, that's easy enough. We're gonna basically go back into the sewers using the entrance that we used. And go from there. Upon entering the undercellar, I was accosted by the assassins Slithe and Kristen, associates of Servok. Among several important documents on their body was an invitation to the Ducal Palace, my next destination. We're still silenced now. Here's the thing. I want to rest. We should be able to rest here, I think. No, this is not considered a good place to rest. Okay, presumably we can rest here then. If the game doesn't decide to spawn a giant spider. Okay, we're rested, but I don't think our spells are back up. No, they are. Wonderful. Go ahead and identify this. The Shadow's Blade. Short sword of backstabbing. The Shadow's Blade. The Shadow's Blade was created to be the perfect assassin's tool. It is highly sought after by any who settle differences with a blade, and many that possess it do not do so for long. Interesting. It is a Thaco +3 into damage, 1d6 +3. That... Game, are you actually recommending that I give that to me? Really? I mean, sure, I have a +2 proficiency to short swords, but really?
I can carry no more.
One moment. Are you really recommending this for me? It's actually in many ways better than my longsword. It's got better Thaco, and technically has better damage. Because it's a 1d6 +3. Well, my current one is a 1d8 +1. So, okay. Yeah, game is basically like, hey, yeah, no, you should use this over your longsword. I mean, I can do that. I don't mind. The intent was to give it to Emoin, but hey, if the game says you should use it, I'll use it. I don't mind. I got no problem using it myself. It's just admittedly not what I had expected to do. I didn't check to see if Nayra should have picked up any of the scrolls that the wife had, but it doesn't really matter, honestly. Medium shield +1, not all that useful. So we'll just go ahead and dump it on the ground somewhere. Do you have 3 identifies? No, you only have the 2. Okay. Okay, well, everybody's at full health.
Think carefully. Think carefully.
Now, I am using a map on the internet to help me find this. So, looks like the Dukel Palace exit is basically any of these up top here. So, either here or here. Yep, okay. Presumably I just sort of walk up to the front door and say, hey, I got an invitation. Let me in. Hello, Bill.
Hello?
Greetings. I assume you've come to the palace for the coronation of Servok. Well then, I'll need to see your invitation. Here are the invitations. Could you let us in now? We're in a hurry. Don't be so impatient. Let's take a look at these invitations. Yes, they do look authentic. All right then, you can enter.
I serve the flaming fist!
Could you please hand over your invitations to the palace? Okay. Sure, here are the invitations. Thank you very much. You may pass now. I've entered the Ducal Palace. Now I must prevent Servok from becoming a Grand Duke and slaying the other Grand Dukes to seize ultimate power. We need to find the doppelganger assassins, or kill Servok. Probably both, realistically.
With caution.
Because presumably the doppelgangers will still do their thing, even if I... Okay. Now that all our guests have arrived, we can begin with the ceremony that you have all been awaiting.
As all of you know, this is a special occasion for the city of Baldur's Gate.
Okay, you didn't voice the full thing. It is time for a new person to join the ranks of the Grand Dukes. I do not wish to downplay the tragedy that we suffered with the loss of Entar Silvershield, but this is not the time for us to show grief.
The votes have been tallied from those submitted by the landowners. The result was nearly unanimous.
I call bull.
What of Duke Elton? Has his condition improved at all? If he dies, who will replace him? What about the rumors of Arm mobilizing for war? Why aren't we preparing for war? With our iron shortage, how are we to defend ourselves? Who will give us the iron we need? What of the Zentarum? I've heard that they may be somehow involved. I believe that Elton was poisoned by members of the Shadow Thieves. They're obviously trying to kill our leaders.
All of your questions will be answered in due time. You need not worry.
Right.
Entar was killed by Shadow Thieves, agents of Arm. If it isn't obvious to the rest of you, it's obvious to me. Arm wants a war.
The evidence we have about Entar's murder does resemble the work of the Shadow Thieves, but...
Resembles? That's ridiculous! The signature left behind on the body was the mark of the Shadow Thieves. Are you blind and stupid, woman?
If I may continue, the signature left behind was very blatant and could have been put there to mislead all of us.
Agreed.
Who would want to mislead us?
Perhaps I could interject something before this meeting degenerates into meaningless bickering.
We are here to welcome our new Grand Duke, so perhaps we should get on with it. Introducing the new Grand Duke, Servok Enchev. I am honored to be here before such a respected assemblage of noblemen. I accept my new position with full awareness to my new responsibilities, and I will have many of them. I would first like to address many of the questions that had been asked earlier. The rumors about Am's mobilization for war are entirely true, as is the involvement of their Zentarum cohorts. But do not worry, we are not bereft of a defense. Although the recent Zentish attempt at depriving us of the most valuable war resource, iron, has weakened us, it has not crippled us. When my father was most recently murdered, I inherited his control over the western branch of the Iron Throne. They have a great deal of stockpiled iron, enough for all of our needs. I will give this to the city to do with as you will. Unfortunately, our greatest military commander lies on his deathbed, a grievous blow to this city. To ensure that the Flaming Fist is well led, I will be assembling control of the mercenary regiment, with permission from its current steward, Angelo.
Wait one moment. That is not in your power to decide.
Shut up! Let Servox speak!
Instead of waiting for the war to come to us, we will take it to them. With the Flaming Fist, we should be able to easily take the town of Nashkel, and then quickly fortify the mountain pass through the cloud peaks. What? Who dares to interrupt?
For the fallen!
Holy shit, they're all fucking doppelgangers. Why am I not surprised? I should not be surprised by that. I was not expecting all of the noblemen to be doppelgangers.
Tempest, give us victory!
Okay, we need to try to save as many of our friendlies as we can. Okay, that did not spread at all. That didn't... The rest of these guys all got fucking lucky on their save versus spell.
My turn to save the day. My turn to
You
save
back
what
off.
Feel
I'm attempting to save these guys if I can, but it's not that big of a deal if I can't. But I would love to have the allied support if I can. The Grand Dukes are dead, killed by assassins in our midst. Look there, the killers accused of murdering the leaders of the Iron Throne. They must be part of the plot. I don't want them alive. Kill them! Kill them all! You have failed, Korgath.
appearances can be deceiving.
Okay, we now have the entire fucking room trying to murder us.
Think carefully.
I serve the Flaming Fist.
Yes? Yes.
Is there anywhere I can go and not immediately trigger that? No. No, there doesn't look to be. I have to trigger that, which is annoying. Okay, so... Jesus Christ, I fucking hate missions like this in any game. I really do. I absolutely despise missions like this. Because it is so fucking annoying. I have to save the lives of, like, 2 people who have very little health in the grand scheme of things, and they're just gonna be fucking dogpiled by, like, 6 or 7 fucking enemies that are going to prioritize them because of the way the AI works in these games. They generally attack the closest target first, and they only switch target if enough aggro gets drawn, but I cannot magically draw aggro. Or at least, you know, not in a consistent way, which is why I attempted to use the fear, because, okay, if I can maybe get these guys to scatter across the room, we'll have a fighting chance, because obviously when you're feared, you're not fighting.
Can I help you?
Nature's servant awaits.
And I do not have a spell that is particularly useful, because Entangle has its uses, but the main downside to it is it affects friendlies just as much as it affects enemies. And that 1 turn duration it takes, or excuse me, the 4 casting time that it takes is way too freaking long for how quickly those doppelgangers will be jumping onto the enemy, or onto the Grand Dukes, the other 2 that I need to save. Theoretically, it's possible to save them. I really don't see, you know, it being impossible to save them. In theory, it's possible. It's a real fucking pain in the ass, however. If they die, as we saw, I have to basically fight the entirety of the fucking palace then, which we don't have the fucking means of dealing with. We really don't. There are just way too frickin' many guards, and I'm just gonna tank my party reputation killing those guards, even if it is entirely self-defense. So this is going to be an absolutely annoying fight to deal with. It really is. Now, if command was effective against multiple enemies, I might have had a use for it. Oh, I could have used glitter dust to find what's-her-face, potentially. I don't know. Doesn't really matter, though. I have Magic Missile, not particularly effective or useful in this scenario right now. I have zero clue if those greater doppelgangers have 5 hit dice or more. Maybe I can use sleep? Although it's only a 15-foot radius, and as we've seen with how this game works sometimes when it comes to, you know, radius, I don't know if it'll actually work like you would expect it to. Yeah, we don't have the fucking...
You have need of me?
Abilities, realistically. Also, I don't know what the fuck Khalid was doing, apparently not using his sword. For some reason, he was on his fist. I don't know why.
Think carefully.
As all
All
and the if I
perhaps I could wait.
Shut up! Let Servox speak!
I do not fear death. Do you?
I am the law!
Tempest, give us victory!
Okay, we managed to knock down a couple. Helpful. Also, these guys seem to have some sort of invisibility-ish effect on them or something. I don't know what. It's some sort of effect.
I am the law!
Ah,
Fuck.
No!
Yeah, no, we're not saving him. He just... They take way too fucking much damage.
What you want? Yep, I've done had enough of this.
My time to save the day.
And now I'm literally fighting an entire fucking room. Okay, managed to fear some of them. I don't think near enough to make a difference. I don't know if I can go to somebody else. Maybe? There might be somebody that I can go to. But I don't know for... I really don't know. We're gonna go back here. We're gonna head back into the sewers. I'm gonna go ahead and, I guess basically check out the wiki and,
Gather your party before venturing forth. You must gather
we might have a different approach next time. So, I will see you all next time. Until then, goodbye and farewell.